Mercedes Schlapp criticized Brianna Keilar's husband, Fernando Lujan, for allegedly anti-Trump tweets in an article that she published on Real Clear Politics. The only problem is Mercedes is the exact type of person you'd expect to work alongside Trump. She mistook a different Twitter account with the same name as Keilar's husband. Perfect. Like that incompetence is perfect for Trump. Anyway, so let's take a look at how Keilar responded. And by the way, she's been like super fiery lately, and I'm particularly enjoying it. She wrote, in response to Mercedes Schlapp's Real Clear News op-ed, get your facts straight and don't mess with my family. And then, there's a longer message. I'll read a few portions of it. Your op-ed is riddled with lies, Mercedes, but most despicable is you trying to character assassinate my husband, an active duty military officer, and mistaking him for someone else in the process. He's a Green Beret who has served his country with honor and distinction, including 7 combat deployments. You state that he tweeted something disparaging about the president. No, he didn't. By the way, I think it'd be totally fine if he did, not a big deal. I don't know what tweet you're talking about, but it's not my husband. So it wasn't her husband. And obviously Schlapp engaged in this like ridiculous. Can you imagine writing a whole op-ed and you got like the whole point of that op-ed, the whole core was you misidentifying someone? Like how did you sit down and write that? How did you not verify something? Like, anyway, it's amazing. But like, I don't think it's a big deal if Keilar's husband did say disparaging things about Trump. Trump has been a disaster. We have hundreds of thousands of Americans who have died because of this coronavirus pandemic and his lack of leadership. He's garbage, okay? Does Mercedes Schlapp should write an op-ed about me? I'd be into it. I'd love it.
Talk about your husband. So the thing is, when you're in a position where you have to consistently defend someone like Donald Trump, you lose your wits a little bit and you start being more erratic because the pressure from him to make sure that your only job is to defend him no matter what, you start becoming more like him. You have to be irrational. You have to be inflammatory. So you're like, oh, there's a tweet. Oh my God, I know that husband. Let me start writing. And you haven't even thought yet. I've done it many times where if I'm upset and I see something and I want to tweet about it and give my thoughts, or if there's someone that says something, and I will go to the Twitter page first. I'll be like, who is this person? Oh, even if I know who the person is, some kind of a known figure, I'll go to what they've done and look at what is they're about first. What's the point of me just throwing off a full op-ed about something I haven't even looked into? How do you do that? What's like, so if you write something else that's supposed to have some kind of meaning to it, you didn't research it at all? You didn't look into who you're talking about? If you're going to disparage someone, you should probably know who you're disparaging. And if for nothing else, to make your point better. If I want to trash someone, I'm gonna find out everything about you to trash. I'm not gonna make it a surface thing.
So Real Clear Politics.
Go ahead, sorry.
Real Clear Politics did issue a correction later. An earlier version of this essay asserted that Brianna Keilar's husband is a ferocious opponent of the president. That reference has been removed. Okay, but why? Why was it removed? It's because you guys published a moron who didn't do any fact checking in her op-ed. And then, by the way, Schlapp was obviously very quick to publicly smear someone in an op-ed, but was kind of unwilling to publicly apologize. So Keilar had mentioned that Mercedes Schlapp called her to apologize. Good to see there's still room for decency, even in this hyper-polarized political environment, kumbaya, whatever. But yeah, I mean, why didn't you? I mean, if I had done something like that, I would feel so terrible about, basically, so she actually called Fernando Lujan, who's Brianna Keilar's husband. I don't know, I would just feel like horrible about it if I got the identity wrong and I accused someone of doing something they didn't do, right? And I would want it to be I would call them, of course, a private apology, but also publicly. But there wasn't any public apology issue.
You got to save face. And also, I think there was a part where they said the higher levels of the administration apologize to the highest levels of CNN for the mix-up. What do those two groups have to do with this? Nothing. They have nothing to do with this. But we have to make sure the higher ups at CNN know that this Schlapps went and talked about your anchor's husband incorrectly and then went off. What do they have to do with it? The damage was done to her or her husband and their name. So what does whoever's at the top of CNN have to do with this? It's frustrating, but again, and then the other part, the reason why I was so annoyed by the tweet from Lujan, but now you get to call her decent. She's still not decent. There was no moment of decency in the middle of this fractured country. Why is the country fractured? Because of people like her. That's why.